Welcome to Suncoast View. I'm Stephanie Roberts. A Suncoast restaurant posts a controversial political sign, and Congress wants to make your concert tickets cheaper. We'll discuss.
Hey, I'm Dickie Smothers, one half of the Smothers Brothers, and I'm also a TEDx speaker. TEDx? What is that? I have no idea. Are you asking? I'm going to do it anyway.
I'm Bobette. Experts tell us the greatest job growth will be in science and technology fields. Today we'll learn how to make those fun and get kids more interested.
And I'm Linda Carson. It's the start of a new season for the Manatee Performing Arts Center. We've got a preview of their very first show. All that more right now on Suncoast View.
That's great music for meditation.
No, it's not meditation. Welcome to the show, and welcome back to Dickie Smothers.
Yes. Hi, I was
you
meditating.
Don't like our new little hip
That's
open?
making me nervous.
Oh, it's
energizing.
Energy.
No.
That's
Yes.
right.
Well, you guys are energetic, and it's great to be back on the show. And I have something to say, you know. I hate doing things with... No, it never stopped me before. I have nothing to say, but I'm always talking, so what
There
am
you
I talking?
go.
I want to be
That's
genuine.
You'll fit right in here.
Do I feel comfortable? Yes.
You will fit right in. And I understand that you have been expanding your talents a little bit. Tell us about these classes you're taking.
We retired 6 years ago, and I settled down. I said, I've got to do something with what God gave me, this second life. My health, my recovery. There's so much to learn, and I'm going to see if I could make it as a single performer.
Oh,
And so what are you doing with these guys?
I see them all by myself again. That's an improv school at Florida Studio Theater. That was musical improv, intensive improv. It is so much fun. Life is improvisational anyway.
Yes,
and
it
what
is.
you do is you get with a bunch of people and you stop thinking and you react and agree with what's going on. And it's amazing without trying to be funny. And just having a conversation, which is what Tommy and I did forever.
I was going to say,
not
you're an
knowing
expert.
It. Yeah,
I
we
thought
didn't
you
know
would
it.
be an expert improv.
But we didn't know it was improv. We just said we're making it up.
Oh, really? So you didn't have that scripted?
No, but it became scripted, like Nichols and May. You work it improvisationally, and each performance you may add something, take it away. The audience is really telling you what's funny and how you are that day. So Nichols and May were the best. But Tommy and I, at the end of our career, there was stuff, Rob Reiner said this in an interview, and God, he was a writer at 21 years old on our show. Later on he said, Dickie and Tommy did bits 1,000 times, 2,000 times, and you swear to God, when you saw them, it was the very first time they did it. Now that's the skill you could get after a bunch of years.
Right.
And there's a flow of not being written, and that's why improv is not a bunch of revisions like a scripted play, and it's life. You never know what's coming next.
And it's kind of like this show. You never know what's going to come out of their mouths either, which is what we don't like about it.
Thank you for listening. It was so neat.
We're glad you're
I'm just
here.
so thrilled to be sitting by you.
Oh, I'm
Very
thrilled to be sitting
fun.
by
I used to
you.
watch you all the time.
Look at that.
Well, we have a special guest in the kitchen today as well. We are thrilled that Chef Lindsey McDonald from Jack Dusty at the Ritz-Carlton is with us with some sweet treats. What are we making today?
We are making probably the most ridiculous milkshakes you've ever seen, and I'm really excited to get you guys up here today.
Oh, okay. Give us a hint of ridiculousness.
We're starting with s'mores.
Ooh.
Marshmallows. Pretty much everything you see in front of me is going to get piled on this.
Wow. All right.
It'd be hard to wait till the end of the show.
I know, and a fancy serving glass to boot. All right, a lot of fun here. We're going to work on our sugar buzz as we head into the weekend. Also, something to remind you this weekend, and it is a big event, of course, every single year. The 68th Annual Prime Time Emmys will be on Sunday, hosted by Jimmy Kimmel. Always a fun show right here on ABC. Game of Thrones and The People vs. OJ leading the pack with nominations. Game of Thrones is actually speculated to make Emmy history. The current record is held by Frasier, going back a few years. I did not know
Great
that.
show.
With
Wow.
37 series Emmy wins, and they think Game of Thrones could break that.
I think they can. That last season was pretty good.
Yeah, a lot
Meaning
of
for
fun.
one show they got 37?
Yep.
One episode?
No, season.
Like the season got different awards.
You know, the season.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. See
We
it.
got one Emmy.
An Emmy is an Emmy.
At least we're in the game with one.
You're in the game. That
And
is
it's
all that
not
matters.
over.
That's
not
right.
over
The
yet.
game is not over. All right, it is time for our first hot topic. And a sign at Barnacle Bills in Sarasota is generating a lot of chatter. So the sign reads, reads, concealed carry okay. I am a deplorable. Vote for Trump. Well, the owner posted the message after Hillary Clinton used that phrase earlier this week, basket of deplorables, to describe half of Trump supporters. Well, as you might expect, the owner of the restaurant is now telling us the reaction from everyone here, it's been mixed. Some people have left the restaurant in protest. Others have come in, they say, because of the sign. Okay, usual rules apply here. Politics aside, what do you think about a restaurant owner putting something like that on a sign?
It's his business, so he can do whatever he wants. But it's also those people, people's right to not support that. And if you're going to say something controversial, you might want to anticipate that may impact your business. Because if I don't agree with your message, I'm not going to support you or give you 1 cent of my dollar.
But if you really believe in something, you ought to risk your business for it.
That's his choice, and I think that's what's great about America. You get to speak your mind wherever, however, but there are always consequences.
Yes.
So people always tend to say, for a business, you want to stay away from that because you don't want to alienate your customers. So I think it was a bad idea, but I respect him for doing it.
Yeah, I doubt his marketing guy's happy.
But I think comedically, it has great precedent. It's satire. That's all it is satire. Let's say Chris Rock, what would he do with that? He would have a ball. You know, one of his bits was, I was protesting at an anti-gun protest. I got home and I got death threats. I need a gun. I need to buy a gun. So if you know people are carrying comedically, and I'm the chef. There's a chef over there, and someone's complaining about the dish and wants you to come out. I ain't going out there. He's carrying a gun. And I think if you take it that way, people aren't going to bring guns just to do it. And I think he made just a political statement, and I wouldn't take it seriously. The problem is that we take things too seriously.
Yeah.
And where Trump is right, political correctness. I don't like the guy. He's a shallow, he's a crook, he's everything that we know. No matter how the lines he's reading now, those are lines. We know who he is. But political correctness has gotten way out of control.
Or oversensitivity.
Yeah, oversensitive, you got it.
I mean, but I don't think this is about oversensitivity. I think you made the point of it's a political statement. He's making a political statement. And I think one of the new things that the Trump campaign is pushing is for his supporters to talk to people or interact with other people to get the message out. That's the new grassroots approach that they're taking. Now, I understand the approach, but I don't want anyone to I personally lose respect for people when I see that they support something that I find could be offensive to the larger group. So if you're going to tell me that, you know, you're going to support one individual regardless of how he treats other people, or that makes me question your judgment.
That's right.
And you're taking a business risk.
Where that's where I draw
line.
the line. It's not. I'm not mad at you. I think everyone has the right to support whatever they want. But then I start questioning, hey, are you really the person I thought you were? Because you're supporting something that is offensive to a larger group. So what do you really? Where do your values lie?
What do you think it's like to work there? I mean, what if you're an employee there and
you don't agree?
And you don't agree?
I'm sure a good majority of the people that's working in the kitchen are Hispanic. So to support someone that's saying, hey, build walls, send people back, and making offensive comments to a whole culture, I think that would be offensive.
Yeah, I mean, he's alienating people.
What bothers me, political speeches are not improv. And I like Hillary, but that was a dumb thing to say about deplorable
Everybody
people.
makes stupid statements.
But you can't do that when you're running.
It was not an ad
we
lib.
have had proof that you can do that when you're running
right,
for
but it
president.
wasn't an ad lib. She expanded upon it. It's like when Trump says, I saw something and expands it on something he didn't see. That is not a mistake. That is well thought out. And she thought that out, and it was a huge mistake.
It was a big mistake.
Yeah, I think so.
No,
For
it
her
will.
to say it.
And it is
Foot
certainly
in the mouth.
Foot in mouth and being replayed now as part
Yeah.
of comedy, if you will, or political statement. So buying tickets for concerts, shows, sporting events, it's no longer straightforward. Well, Congress is looking to do something about the bots that have been snatching up your prize seats. Did you know this was happening? Ticket bots are used to automatically buy sought-after seating for shows, and that gives all the best options to scalpers, and it hikes up prices to the extremes.
Oh, wow.
So the House has now passed the Bots Act. It allows the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, to strengthen their fight against these pesky bots. I wonder how many people didn't even know this was happening.
Me, I didn't even know this existed.
This is why you can't actually just go on Ticketmaster anymore and buy great seats, because a computer program has already bought
might
them.
not even be Ticketmaster that you're on. I was looking for tickets to the Van Wezel, to Kinky Boots, and I looked online, $250 a ticket. Then I talked to the box office, they're like $100 a ticket. That's some scalper
You were
out
on
there.
and so those were purchased by that site's bots and then re-put out without you ever knowing it.
By the way, maybe someone made my mistake. I went to vanwezel.com. It's not a .com. .com is a private business that charges more. I didn't get into the box office at the Van Wezel. It might be a .org or ed or something, but make sure you're not getting to an offline with a name that thinks you're buying.
That's pretending to
They
be.
wanted more for 2 tickets together, and I know Van Wezel doesn't do that.
Right, right. No, there's lots of little
Yeah.
catchy things that I think a lot of people
Yeah.
are getting caught with. So hopefully some regulation will help that out. Well, if you've ever been a designated driver with less than sober friends, apparently perception is everything. A study from the Cardiff University of Wales speculates that sober people make drunk people feel even drunker. So the researchers stood in 4 different nightlife hotspots and they measured the blood alcohol levels of the partiers. Then they asked the partiers, the drunk people, how drunk they thought they were. They overestimated their level when in the presence of a sober person. I think that would go into because you're acting like a fool in front of someone that is not, you better recognize that there's a reason.
It's looking at you with a very straight face.
I think that's the worst part about being the drunk person around sober people, because that sober person is like looking at you like, what? What are you saying?
Right,
or what
right.
are you doing?
I being a recovered alcoholic for 22 years, I have such empathy for drunks acting stupid, because I did that for many decades, and I feel sorry for them that they're doing it that way, but I don't judge them at all. I don't, but you know, it's if you're around crazy people, you'll become crazy. If you're around drunks, you'll become drunk. You become who you hang out with. You know, and
Well, we're lucky.
My mom used to say that. Show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are.
your mama's right. Listen to your
interesting.
mama.
So I'll
Very
show you my
interesting.
friends, and you'll say, well, you've got a great figure, you've got beautiful hair, you're about 30 years old. Wow.
All right, well, the Oxford English Dictionary regularly updates itself to reflect the common new words in our vocabulary. So we're going to check out some latest editions. And Dickie, we're going to kind of quiz you a little bit as we do this, okay? These are the new words for the dictionary. YOLO. We helped you with that one. It stands for?
Look at his face.
You only live once.
I never heard that.
YOLO.
That's got to be a text.
That comes
YOLO.
from the text
I
acronym.
like it. Sounds like sounds
No.
good.
YOLO. You only live once. It's kind of a
That's
reason to
great.
do stuff. All right, see if you can recognize some of the others of these. That one should say gender fluid. What is gender fluid?
Well, I know what it is, of course. People that are transgender back and forth.
Gender fluid has become a new term that we are using now. So
I
gender
thought you
fluid.
were just flowing with your gender.
What's a T-bone? And I'll give you a hint. It is
steak.
not a
A
steak.
steak.
No.
A wreck.
Yes,
Correct.
Linda,
You
good
get
news
T-bone.
reporter. You get
It's
T-bone.
broad-sided.
That's become such a common phrase. It is now in the dictionary. Getting T-boned is a bad car crash. Here's my favorite. Moobs. Dickie, do you
have
have
no idea.
moobs?
Are they breast implants that have moved?
No,
Oh my
good
gosh.
guess. Good guess. They are man boobs.
Oh,
So you do not have moobs.
well, I got perky ones.
Yeah. You don't want saggy man boobs.
No, you
Moobs. Yes, moobs is an
I didn't
important
know
one.
that was a word.
That's not going to be a word I say often.
And I'm not sure I should say this one, but I think we can all get a point of what it is. Yeah.
Just the same old word.
This is in the
But
dictionary.
that is now in the dictionary because it's actually not the B word anymore. That is a variety of the B word.
How do you say it?
I'll tell you during commercial break.
No one wants to say it.
Nobody wants to say it. It's a daytime show, but all those words have now been added.
You can't put that up and not say it.
I certainly can. I'll say it during commercial break. All right, here's a weird story to end our week. Have you ever wanted to sit upon your porcelain throne at home in the utmost style? It's an 18-karat gold toilet made by an Italian artist for people with too much money. It has made its debut in a very ordinary bathroom at the Guggenheim Museum. It's actually there. It's fully functional, and its creator hopes that people don't see it as a joke.
What is this seat? Mother of pearl?
Seriously, as a legitimate art piece. I cannot imagine
So
why
can people
one.
use it? You
can
Yes,
use it?
it works. That's a
Oh,
public
I can
bathroom.
see some guy walking out carrying commode on his shoulder
Yeah.
because it's
You
solid
melt
gold.
that down. Take the seed and melt it down. You got a new necklace.
I guess that's for someone that has everything.
Yeah, the golden years.
Yes, that's where you spend your golden years. We're going to check out our happy hour forecast. And when we come back, Manatee Performing Arts kicks off their new season.
Good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan with your happy hour forecast. We are looking at a few spotty showers around town right now, and some activity could be increasing throughout the early evening. A lot of storms heading toward Texas as a result of a tropical low moving in there. It doesn't have much time to develop, but boy, it's bringing some heavy rainfall near New Orleans and stretching westward into the Gulf of Mexico. And we still have Julia out there in the Atlantic. We'll keep an eye on that as well. It could bring some moisture our way. Showers and storms, I mentioned, starting to flare up across parts of the Suncoast on that sea breeze. They're rather widely scattered. You can see the activity moving, though, to the southwest at around 5 miles an hour. They haven't been around long, and most of the activity now near Lakewood Ranch and I-75. Not much in West Bradenton. Things are pretty quiet there. Currently, the storms, as I mentioned, are drifting to the southwest. They're weakening as they push to the southwest, and there are a few showers along the west coast as well. We'll have the complete details on your weekend weather forecast. Take a look at all the tropical systems out in the Atlantic coming up at 5. See you then.
We all know that a dog can change your life, and that is the storyline of the first show of the season at the Manatee Performing Arts Center. The play is called Sylvia, and here to tell us all about it is the artistic director, Rick Kirby, and actress Brittany Klepper. And okay, first, before we talk to Brittany, we'll just have to guess who Brittany is in this show. Rick, tell us about Sylvia.
Well, it's about a couple who have been long-term married, and they adopt a dog, and it kind of becomes